glanced from the reports on his desk to the window of his office at 14th and Constitution in Washington, D.C. Yet another late fall was giving way to the first signs of winter, and the years added on to one another since he and Kelly Patterson had been included with David Red Eagle, that strange Indian anachronism, and Professor Willard Haskins in sharing the secret identity of the Penetrator. Since that time, Joanna Tabler, of his own staff, had come to discover that Mark Hardin, young Vietnam veteran and skillful expert in intelligence and penetration missions, was the Penetrator. But there was little chance of betrayal from her. Dan suspected that tough professional Joanna Tabler has as soft an internal nature as any other woman when confronted with a big, handsome, rugged male. That this internal nature melted in the presence of Mark Hardin, Dan was sure. That Joanna was secretly in love with the man who was called the Penetrator, he confidently suspected. There remained, however, the problem of the Immigration Service Bulletin. They were closer to Mark Hardin than anyone had been since the start in Los Angeles. That they were close from the rear was Dan's secret. Mark Hardin was already in the States. He had been seriously wounded in his battle against the Sendai Purple, and had been recovering in a small private hospital in San Diego, California. He had been released a week ago. Dan well knew Mark's insatiable curiosity about matters involving crime and criminals. It took very little imagination for him to realize that before very long, the Penetrator would be heard from again. Chapter 1. 2 for the Price of 1. Dust boiled high in the desert air in a roiling rooster tail behind the bouncing, jolting jeep. The passengers clung desperately to the sides, being reminded once again that this style of driving must be a national trait, rather than a special course for taxi drivers in Mexico City over on the mainland. Their driver, a brown-skinned youth not yet past his 21st birthday, was grinningly displaying a mouthful of white, even teeth as he jabbered away in a polyglot of English and Spanish.
Pues sí, Dr. Dawson. This is near to the place you wish to examine, verdad?
He pointed with one arm toward a distant rugged hillside, pockmarked by the openings of mine tunnels and caves. His casual gesture caused their vehicle to lurch alarmingly to one side, and the young girl beside him let out a strangled yip of alarm. No stranger to desert terrain, Marta Eisen was furious at herself for displaying fear over the juggernaut driving of the young Mexican. They'd done far more dangerous things back home on the kibbutz. More dangerous because some of the obstacles they had to hurdle were landmines planted by Arab guerrillas. This outing in the Baja Sur desert was child's play by comparison. She tightened her lips in determination not to display further womanly weaknesses.
Mira las cavernas, doctor,
their driver continued, unmindful of the added jeopardy his inattention to the road caused.
To study the formaciones geológicas es muy importante for you, no?
Ricardo, watch the road, Peter Dawson bellowed. I can learn nothing about the water table of Baja California from a bed in the hospital at La Paz. Ricardo turned away from the road, looking contritely at his boss in the back seat.
Lo siento mucho, doctor. I will watch and drive as carefully as if we had a new Cadillac.
His actions caused Marta to break her promise to herself, emitting a loud yelp just before the left front wheel hit a small boulder situated in the rutted path which was laughingly called a road. The Jeep bounced out of the ruts, the steering wheel spinning painfully out of Ricardo's hands. Taking its own head, the small vehicle roared across the rough desert terrain and up a small rise. The other side was a sheer drop-off. They left the ground, hurtling into the air with the ungainly floundering of a goony bird, wobbling dangerously on the edge of turning over, before slamming to the hard-packed, decomposed granite of the desert floor, some 7 feet below. One tire blew on impact, and the motor stalled. A cloud of dust